Registered representatives offer securities through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Financial advisors offer advisory services through Securities America Advisors, Inc. Forest Hills Financial, Inc. and Securities America are separate entities. This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steindler.
Good morning. Welcome to the Keep Your Money Show. I'm Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by my esteemed colleague, Mr. Bart Steindler. Bart, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. It's another $1 million morning here in Grand Rapids.
Indeed it is. A little chillier this week than it had been, so I think winter is officially on its way. I'm sure lots of our snowbird friends are either on their way or already there to much warmer climates.
This is a scary Halloween this year.
Was it?
Yeah, I kept getting these big postcards in the mail with pictures of really ugly people on them, and they wanted me to vote for them.
Oh. It took me a second to figure that out. Well, I, for one, am thrilled that in a couple of days voting happens, and I don't even care who wins at this point in time if I can just stop seeing all the ads.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, they're just pervasive. So
I saw one, and it was I won't even mention the candidate, and both sides are doing this, so it's not like a commentary on one side or the other.
Right.
But it talked about how the candidate really cared, and there was a crisis with the water in their town, and she went. And she didn't care that the cameras weren't there, and she was unloading water to help the town. But they have a picture of her. Evidently, the cameras were there.
That's funny. Well, this is Keep Your Money Show, where we cut through all the bulls, the booyahs, the bells, whistles, honks, and horns to get you the information that actually helps you move towards retirement. If you missed a part of the show, you can always find it on our website. Just go to keepingyourmoney.com. You can also find it on all of our podcast partners, iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Just search for the Keeping Your Money Show. Got a great show on deck today. We're going to talk about buyout offers coming from General Motors, what that might mean to 18,000 salaried workers, and what it could mean to you even if you don't work at GM, as buyout offers start to fly a lot of places towards the end of the year. Nate Boonstra is going to join us in the studio to talk about IRS announcing new higher retirement plan contribution limits, which is good news for savers. Why these teachers' retirement plans aren't making the grade. We're going to talk about an interesting article that's come out about the idea of why some of these public employee retirement plans are really not keeping up with maybe some of the private company retirement plans. And then we'll have Steve Brohl in from Brohl Tax and Accounting to talk to us about some tax-related things. It's always a good time to have him in. Not necessarily something we like to think about, but something that every year we have to think about. And the end of the year is definitely a time to start thinking about some of that tax-related stuff.
That's right. You want to plan now to execute later.
Absolutely. If you'd like to contact the show, you're welcome to do so. You can call us anytime, toll free, 888-98-MONEY. That's 888-986-6639. We don't take calls on the air, but we do have someone answering the phone 24 hours a day. You can also email us, info@keepingyourmoney.com, and we do respond to those emails personally. So, yeah, USA Today the other day announced that General Motors is offering voluntary buyouts to over 18,000 workers. These are salary workers, and saying that if they don't get enough takers, even though they're not saying what that magic number is, that there could be layoffs next year, which is kind of interesting because this comes on the heels of them reporting a third quarter net profit of $3.2 billion after reporting a $5.4 billion loss last year in the third quarter. So business seems to be going okay.
Yeah, you'd think that is when they had the $5.4 billion loss, that's when they would want to be getting rid of people. But I think what's happening is the needs of the company are changing as far as what they need for employees. There's a lot of new technologies. The auto industry is changing so much. So they've been bringing on a lot of people in the last few years, and I think they realize that from a management standpoint, they maybe have more people there than they need, where from a technology and engineering standpoint, they need more people.
Sure. And I think you see, companies that are that are healthy and are doing well in this economy are doing similar things, right?
Right.
We've gone through a really robust part of our economy, and they understand business cycle, they understand economy cycle, they understand that things are going to change down the road at some point in time. Probably a good idea to make sure things are lean where they need to be now, and kind of get rid of some of the extra that maybe they don't need. Another thing they mentioned in this article is that they've hired like 30% of their salaried workforce in the last 5 years. So probably at a much lower salary than some of these people they're hoping to get to take the buyout.
Yeah. So a lot of things come to mind when you get offered a buyout. And there's so many things you have to consider, but you get this package, and does it include health care? Does it include keep paying you a salary for a certain amount of time? Does it include some retirement benefits, and how are you going to be able to take that package plus what you've saved in your retirement plans, plus what you've saved outside of your retirement plans, and make that work for a long period of time? Because you were originally thinking you'd work till, let's say, 65, and now you're 58 and you're getting offered a package. Well, those 7 years were 7 years that you were probably going to be in your prime earning years, and it was also going to be 7 years of your retirement account hopefully growing, and to set you
contributing
and contributing to set up for that money to allow you to retire. Now it's a smaller amount of money. It's got to last 7 years. So how do you analyze that?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that so often we see people making potentially mistakes in is, they look at it like, well, could I retire if I take this? You know, and maybe that's I would challenge it. That's probably the wrong way to look at it. If you weren't thinking about retiring already because you weren't ready to financially or otherwise, your company dangling a carrot in front of your nose probably doesn't immediately mean that's the reason or the time to do it. If you retire at 58 without health benefits versus retiring at 65 when you're Medicare eligible, you now have to figure out how to bridge that 7-year gap. Well, maybe your spouse works and you can just hop on your spouse's insurance, but if not, that's a serious consideration that has to be taken into account. They're most likely not offering you the amount of years that you were planning on continuing to work as a buyout. They're most likely not offering you to match your 401k contributions or allow you to continue to contribute. So all of those things have real financial, impacts. The other thing is considering that, okay, maybe they buy you out and you're 58 years old, but maybe that doesn't mean retirement. What other job opportunities potentially present themselves? We had a client a little while ago, similar situation, was bought out by a company. The way that it worked for him was he had about 18 months of severance, which they were just going to basically keep him on the payroll during that time frame. Well, that gave him 18 months to go out and find other employment, which he did, actually relatively soon after accepting the buyout, and it put him in a great financial position. Alternatively, we've had people come in with a check in their hand, and it's the first time we've ever met them, and they've taken a buyout, and they want to know if they can retire or what they should do. That's the wrong time to walk through the door of a financial advisor's office. It'd be the equivalent of winning the lottery.
It's better than not doing it at all.
Oh, it is, absolutely. But it's the equivalent of winning the lottery, going to Lansing, getting the check, and then driving to a financial advisor's office. You're much better off seeking out that advice ahead of time. I think a lot of times people think of like what we do as, just come in there and we plan out their retirement, we help them invest their money, but a lot of what we can do is really sit down and look at some of these offers and do they make sense? What is the financial break-even point on this for you? And if there are sacrifices that need to be made, knowing what those are before deciding to accept or not accept the package.
Yeah. And like you say, that with the gentleman who took another position and started another career, I mean, this could really be a great opportunity for you, especially if you're not really thrilled about going to work there anymore.
Sure.
here's an opportunity to get some money to and have the opportunity to go out and find out something that you would really enjoy doing, and actually have the equivalent of getting paid to do 2 jobs at one time for a period of time, and then extend the job that you enjoy doing until you decide it's time to retire.
Or maybe it's even in your field. Maybe you work in HR, and you can easily transition to another HR job,
right?
At a different company. I mean, that's a great opportunity there as well, because you basically get a bonus that you can drop right into your savings for retirement. It could actually make it so you could retire earlier. The problem is so often we see people make these decisions based on emotion. They're tired of working there. They've only got 3 more years. Oh, I got a buyout. Oh God, I'm out of here. That's not the way that you want to approach this. You want to approach this from all sides and make sure you're really looking at the implications of a lot of these things. And the biggest thing I always go back to is, if you weren't planning on retiring this year anyway, does a buyout and you retiring really make sense?
Right.
Most of the time it's not going to.
Even without the buyout, I've had this happen several times where people come in and say, I'm retiring. And you say, well, why are you retiring? I can't stand this job anymore. Right. And the other reason you're retiring? Nope, that's it. I just can't stand this job anymore. Well, get another job.
Right.
It's not that's the only job for you.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Rediscover yourself, reinvigorate yourself, get into something new. Hey, you might find that it's exhilarating, and you can continue working. You can continue to get that positive feeling from doing a good job somewhere and helping to build something.
Well, and here's something else to consider. If you're in your 50s and you're being offered a buyout, or you're being offered early retirement, and if even all of the numbers seem to match up for you, something so often that people don't think about is, remember, your Social Security is based on your 30 highest working years. Okay? So when you see that estimate on that little sheet of paper they send you every year, you are looking at them anticipating you continuing to work at the income you're receiving right now until retirement. If you don't do it, it will change that number. So if you're making all your plans based on, well, I'm getting $2,200 when I turn 66 and a half, but you quit working at 58, it could potentially change that number at 66 and a half, because you're going to have 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, and 65 at 0. So that's a big difference than them thinking you are continuing on with your present employment. So something to consider. Definitely a good time to sit down with a financial advisor and have an idea of what makes sense for you before you either decide to accept or not accept a buyout offer. All right, coming up, we're going to have Nate Boonster in the office talking about new retirement plan contribution limits for 2019 right here on the Keeping Your Money Show.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to planning your future. Jamie, Bart, and all of the advisors at the Keeping Your Money Show understand that your financial goals are unique, and your needs are going to change at varying stages of your life. Our team of advisors can help you tailor a financial plan that meets your unique needs. Call us today at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to schedule your free initial consultation.